No matter how hard I tried, I could not break out of the handcuffs. Theoretically, I knew what to do. Just turn the paper clip counterclockwise to unlock the mechanism, then clockwise to loosen the cuffs free, and it still wasn't working. And if that's making something in you go, yup, you're probably here because you have a plan. You know the steps, you know what you should be doing. But no matter how hard you try, you're just not doing it. I'm going to show you how to get the click you need to break out of the cuffs and become the person who finally does that thing. Because the gap isn't between knowing what to do and doing it. Hi, if we haven't met yet, my name is Jessie. I'm the self-doubt hypnotist, and I help you to stop second-guessing yourself so you can actually follow through on the life that you keep thinking about. Okay, so here's what's really going on. You might have crystal clarity on the problem you want to solve. And I'm sure you've spent hours, days, weeks, maybe even months searching for how to tackle your challenge. You've looked up the steps, you've learned the strategies, you've listened to people who have already done the thing you want to do, and you've probably even tried to take action on your own. And yet, when it comes time to actually make the change permanent, something seems to stop you. Maybe you start overthinking it and then hesitate and procrastinate and you stop taking action, maybe because you're not seeing the results you had hoped for. And after a while, it becomes painful to consider failing again. So you wind up avoiding it altogether. Sound familiar? If you keep finding yourself stuck in that cycle of trying and failing, the real problem is this. You might have the right map, but the engine driving your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, this engine is programmed to drive in circles. Like I said, the gap isn't between knowing and doing. It's between understanding something and becoming someone who does it. But here's the thing. You are already good at change. Maybe you've moved to a new place before, or learned a new skill, or picked up a hobby, or visited a new town. You've definitely adjusted to new routines and new environments. Not to mention all the little human things you do on autopilot now, like brushing your teeth, or drinking water from a glass, washing dishes, or even driving a familiar route without even thinking about it. And I know there are so many things that you're really good at that other people struggle with. So take a moment to think about a few of those things. And then let me ask you this. Do you have any inner conflict about your ability to do those things? Probably not. So why do certain things feel easy and almost effortless while the change you want the most feels so hard to follow through on? This is the thing that no one ever explains about knowing what to do versus actually doing it. Actually following through. It's that more information rarely fixes it. And you might think that you're fighting a lack of discipline or willpower or motivation. But you're not just fighting an old habit, you're hanging on to an old identity. And at some point, you have to move from learning and trying mode into doing and being mode. And that's an identity switch in the brain and the nervous system. You see, with the things that you already know you can do, the things that you're already good at, the identity click already happened. And with this thing that you're trying to change now, it just hasn't clicked yet. But here's the part most people miss. Once it clicks, you can't really unlearn it. With the handcuffs, I didn't figure it out by learning something new or forcing myself to try harder. I stepped away. I let my mind mull it over while I did something else. I remembered the feeling of the paper clip in my hands, the rhythm of the movement, and the subtle resistance of the mechanism. And then, this is important, I imagined what it might feel like if it actually worked. And when I came back and put the handcuffs on, they were locked, it clicked. Literally and metaphorically. Suddenly, I could do it. Not because I learned something new, but because something shifted from understanding to being. And then I could proudly claim my new parlor trick identity. I'm a person who knows how to break out of handcuffs. But that's the difference between knowing something in your head, knowing the steps, and actually having the capacity to do the thing. So how do you stop knowing what to do and start actually following through? Let me show you a simple way to access that shift. This is a sort of mental imagery hypnotic trick. It's going to help you borrow the feeling of certainty from a past success and apply it to something you're trying to change right now. So take a moment with me, close your eyes, and think back to a time when you were learning something new. Maybe it was riding a bike or navigating a new town, literally anything at all. Now, remember the moment it clicked. Make it vivid. Not just the knowledge, but the feeling, the exact moment it worked. You got that feeling? Good. Now imagine you can connect that version of you, the one who had the breakthrough, to this version of you right now who is trying to change something. And let that feeling transfer through an invisible mental wire. Notice what shifts. Take a big deep breath. Let it out. And open your eyes. And now think about going back to that thing you've been trying to change and notice what's shifted. A little less resistance? Thought so. Borrowing certainty from your past is a great jumpstart, but it's just a spark and not a steady flame. To keep the fire burning, you need to stay aligned with who you're becoming, not just who you've been. This is where tapping into your future self identity comes in. Instead of continuing to ask the same old question of how do I make myself do this, the question then becomes who am I becoming, that this is simply a part of how I operate. And when you start working from your future self, you're no longer trying to install a behavior on top of an old identity. Your actions simply begin to organize around a new identity. This is how that click stops being accidental. This is exactly what I cover in the Future You Blueprint workshop. This is a step-by-step guided experience designed to help you clarify that future version of you. That future version of you want to live from and learn how to build that identity into your everyday life. That's how follow-through stops feeling like so much effort and just starts feeling like a natural part of who you are. So if you want to join us for that, you can grab the link in the description below. But also, if there's that one thing on your to-do list that you just keep putting off, check out my next video. It's a 10-minute hypnosis for procrastination, and it's going to help you get that thing checked off. All right, let me get the other one off.